We are Americans and we are world innovators in the field of mental health. What a truly limitless subject matter, right? And how truly um, uh, we're beginners. How truly novice are we? How truly a novice are we with this, right? I would imagine, especially over the past 10 years, that there's been an explosion in demand for talk therapy, an explosion in demand for psychotropic pharmaceutical drugs, mood regulating drugs, FDA approved drugs. I myself, from personal experience, that you're welcome to peruse in the history of the videos, I talk extensively about mental health, my own mental health, pharmaceutical drugs related to such. So I won't say anything about it here. We all have, as Americans, mental idiosyncrasies. Probably humans do. In our culture, we have whatever is uniquely high velocity and uniquely American that is correlated with the diagnosis or reality of, let's say, American mental health phenomena. So there's plenty of people. We all know people, if not, we ourselves are those people. Those people, we ourselves, the I that is we, the we that is I. We're very intimately and personally familiar with mental health stories. Whether you yourself or there is somebody guaranteed that you are close to who, in various ways and by means of whatever descriptions you're privileged for them to share with you, because that's sacred information, you need to take care. Discretion, but empathy, and so forth. First axiom for this talk. The majority of the Americans. What am I? So that's like I'm thinking about, who am I thinking about? That TV show, The Americans. Because I'm in espionage buff. I mean, I'm into espionage films. Have you ever had a panic attack? Have you ever melted down? Have you ever lost your mind? Have you ever acted out? Acting out. Now tell me that you can look at Donald Trump's behavior today and this is not going to be an assertion about his mental health, about which we know nothing. All we have is behaviorist phenomenology. Behaviorist. What's the guy doing? What's he saying? How's he behaving? How's he handling all this? How's he handling his life? Does it look like he's acting out? Does it look like he's melting down? Or maybe it looks like an infantile regression along the lines of advancing Alzheimer's disease. An infantile regression to a discipline and punishment regime in the Trump household I mean, I guess I've said enough, right? You got the drift. No, but there's one further, moreover. Go back to the original idea of the preposterousness of Donald Trump being president. Why is it preposterous? Well, the primary reason I would think is because he's unqualified. Now, if you put a person who's verifiably and grossly underqualified. Did I say overqualified? I don't know. Underqualified. Donald Trump is grossly underqualified for the position he holds, as well as his entire cabinet and anything basically that he is within some expansive radius of the Donald Trump phenomenon. So if you've ever if you've ever, check with yourself. Maybe when you're younger, because, when we're younger, it's depending on who you are or what your temperament is, it's easy to get yourself into situations where you realize that you're kind of over your head. Maybe you get a job and you realize that actually you yourself don't feel like you're qualified for it, and you have to fake it till you make it. fake it till you make it might be a plausible strategy for a 20-year-old who means well and who is reliable. And so if they make mistakes and then they themselves point out their own mistakes and correct them, so we can see that they know how to be an adult. I mean, you yourself. I mean, you remember what it's like. Maybe it makes it, let me make it, well, can I make it personal? I mean, my own stories of panic really aren't work related, so I don't think I have. I mean, that's a different story, but I mean like real, like in the moment panic. Okay, this is a good example. So I was a baseball player in high school and I was really into it, and I was a catcher. And when I was a sophomore, things looked extraordinarily competitive, and there were like 4 or 5 other catchers in the program that were way better than me. I was definitely the lowest rung. Like, I was a fucking runt of the litter. I was so extraordinarily blessed to have even made the baseball team. But I had such love and drive for baseball, and I just didn't know what to do, because I didn't think that I would, be able to have any place in the organization, being so far. I mean, well, look, I was a sophomore in high school. Whatever my errors in judgment then, I've also discussed in my videos. But in my sophomore year, it was autumn. It was like, when we worked out, that we had the so-called zero period, which we went in sometimes, and I don't know what we did, batting practice mainly, and throw the ball, stretch, running a lot. And then when you start getting into November, December, and all the tryouts are happening, incoming freshmen are happening, and we have to, there's like a kind of like a lot of just maintaining the program type stuff, because incoming freshmen, getting a sense of who's the new people in the program and everything. I mean, it was like it was a several month process, and it was obviously everything was really oriented around incoming freshmen. And so there were lots of practice games and stuff happening really fast, different games happening at the same time and stuff. And I got myself into such a headspace for a few weeks, and I was crying and crying and crying. I lived with my mom, and oh my God, everybody around me they didn't know what to do. I mean, I wanted to change positions. I wanted to move to third base, but I didn't have any training at third base. The only thing I ever did in baseball was catching and hitting. So of course, Coach Flint put me at third base like once, botch like 2 plays, bobble the ball, like fucking throw the ball into the bullpen or something, and when throwing to first base, and it's like, he pulled me aside right after practice and he says, hey, Dimitri, we're going to keep you a catcher. But these times I maintained my composure well enough when I was, in the professional environment, but in the baseball program. But boy, when I was at home, go home, cry to mom. Yeah, who else did I have to cry to? I didn't have anybody else to cry to. Will I ever get any playing time if I'm like the 5th string catcher in the program? Will they even keep me why even keep me in the program? So I completely lost my composure and I was a complete mess for weeks, if not months. My whole 2 years in the Irvine High School baseball program was an exercise in being way over my head. Your behavior becomes erratic. I was in tears every day. Now, Donald Trump, who knows if he's ever shed a tear? So what's it look like when an unqualified loose cannon president gets in way over his head? What's that acting out look like? What's that meltdown look like? Now, I invite you, don't take my word for it. I'm not a professional psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm a dilettante philosopher. I'm just really into human reason and concepts and language and stuff. Don't take my word for it. Check with yourself. And if you don't have any firsthand subjective, data to draw on from your own life, from your own experience, check with a family member or a friend. And let us consider together. The dire seriousness of the situation. This is a colossal mistake that, for various historically contingent and complicated reasons, millions of Americans elected. And, apropos saving face, I hardly think that really anybody can be blamed. Now, I just personally feel like the antidote is very simple. I, Dimitri Fergadis, I am a human, I am an American, I hold myself to account. My word is my bond. It's a strong statement, right? What I said earlier was, I have the capacity, I have the willingness to hold myself to account. If you produce from me a criticism or a comment about anything I do or say, I am at your disposal, so to speak. I've become quite committed to readjusting. It happens constantly. What else? What else is the dignity of being an adult human, especially today, than just merely that you understand what it is to hold yourself to account, to your own words,